So I recently discovered that Seafish has a very long history. I can find Seafish back in the tracks of time, going back as far as 1938. There was the Seafish Industry Act, and it created the Whitefish Commission. But actually, compared to other organisations in the seafood industry, we're actually quite a youngster, really. I've discovered that the Fishermen's Mission have been around since 1881. They've been providing emergency support and pastoral care to fishermen all around the United Kingdom. I've come here today to Grimsby. I'm in the Fishermen's Memorial Chapel, and I've come to meet Suesan Brown. She's one of their superintendents at the Fishermen's Mission, to tell me all about the work that the mission does and how things are for her working here in Grimsby. So I'm here with Suesan Brown. She's the superintendent in Grimsby. As we know, the Fishermen's Mission have outreach mini centres all around the UK in different ports and harbours. But here in Grimsby, obviously there was a very big need for support for fishermen back in the day. But that support has changed, I guess. It's evolved into a different kind of support. And Suesan, we're going to talk a little bit about this kind of work that you do here in Grimsby. Just tell me a few of the things you do here.
So we do various different things. We do still have some active fishermen down on the port. Not many of them, but we do still have them, so we can help with various training and other items with them. But more is the work with the retired fishermen. So a lot of them are on very, very low incomes, and we can help ensure that they have their biannual award, which is a little bit of funding coming in each year for them. But more importantly, we help to fund finances, grants for white goods, brown goods and medical equipment.
Can I ask you, that's very practical help there. I understand also there's a kind of loneliness issue for some of the fishermen who've obviously spent their lives on trawlers and then in very close proximity to colleagues, and then suddenly they find themselves back in Civvy Street and on their own. How do you help with that?
It is very difficult for them. Even in Grimsby, where we've got a good community of retired fishermen, a lot of them are very isolated. Again, especially those with medical issues, can't necessarily get out of the house very well. So there's various things that we do. One is we will do the home visit, something that we call a cup of tea and a biscuit, and that's where we'll pop round, have a chat, see how they are. The other one is that we try and get them interacting with each other, people that they've worked out on the boats. And there's a couple of ways that we do that. One is with the Fishermen's Reunion that we have every year, which is over at the Heritage Centre. It's a fantastic event every year. Quite a lot of fishermen do turn up to it. Even if they don't get out at any other point in the year, they will come out to that and they will meet up with their old comrades, they will have a chat, they will reminisce about old times, they will have a bevy.
I've heard you get more than around about 200 or so.
About 200, about 200 last year. Right. And obviously we do lose a few each year, but there are also those that are added to it as they discover that it's happening. We are always doing that outreach, always trying to make sure that those that don't know about these events do find out about them and get invited to them the next year round. We're also at the moment trying to encourage fishermen to have a monthly mini get-together.
The mission is known as a very strong Christian charity. Yeah. You've got this lovely expression that you use. It's Christianity with its sleeves rolled up. Yeah. I really like the ethos of that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's just getting out there and doing something. I think there was a certain amount of time, and it is less common now as it goes. A lot of Christian charities are now realising that you've got to get out that door. You can't sit in a church and expect people to come to you. But the Fishermen's Mission have always been like that. And we listen to what people want us to do. So if they want us there and then, we will be there and then. If there's things that we can do for going forward, we will be there for that. And we are there for the long term.
Let me ask you about funding, because obviously a lot of support agencies need funding. I think the mission is very well supported by the seafood industry more widely. I know that my colleagues at Seafish are often small scale funding initiatives, and at our Fish and Chip Awards every year there's a whip round. How can people donate to the mission, or how can companies get involved in supporting?
So there's various ways. So at the lower end of the scale, you will find Albert's. I wish I brought one with me.
Okay.
Albert is a fisherman on a charity collection box. He's very sweet. You'll find them in quite a lot of fish and chip shops in certain areas, and in pubs and in various other places around. So pop in a couple of pennies in there as your first port of call. We don't get any funding from government or any other official sort of organisation in that way. We do have to do all of our fundraising ourselves, obviously, including yourselves and various other organisations that help us. We do have very close relationships with various other organisations, and with a lot of the events in Grimsby, for example, we have funding. It's not funding per se, it's not cash. But Young's and Morrison's provide food and things like that for things like that. For the reunions and other bits and pieces. So they've been absolutely fantastic. And Tesco's let us do a collection on our Fish Friday at most of their stores around the UK.
So one of the projects I've heard that you're working on is called Seafit, I think.
Seafit, yeah.
Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're working in partnership with the Seafarers Hospice Society, and it's been fully funded by the Shipwreck Mariner Society, two absolutely fantastic organisations that we work with quite closely on a regular basis. And essentially it's having medical personnel down on the docks, on the quayside, at the harbours, so that the fishermen can go and see a doctor, can see a GP, get various tests done, and can see a dentist to see how their teeth are doing. The last thing you want to see is a toothache, I promise you. But more importantly, a lot of the time they don't get to see GPs when they need to. Sometimes they haven't seen a GP for years and years. So if you can do something that's going to reduce the risk of that in the first place by giving them something as simple as a ECG or a checking their blood pressure on the dock side,
can make all the difference.
Makes a massive difference.
Well, Susan, thanks for sharing that. I mean, you've just given us a great insight into the wonderful work that the mission does, and we're all full of admiration. You feel to me like the unsung heroes of the seafood industry.
I'll tell you what, the fishermen are the unsung heroes of the fishing industry. They go out there. So 100, I'll go there, a very quick stat for you. I'm really sorry to throw a stat at you. 115 times more likely to have an accident if you're a fisherman than in any normal job. It is still the most dangerous job in the world. You are more likely to die or have an injury at work as a fisherman.
We're very keen on this agenda at Seafish too, the safety agenda, doing a lot of work in that respect. So hopefully between us working in partnership with the industry as well, we can help improve that safety record. Thanks ever so much, Susan. It's been a real pleasure meeting you and in these wonderful surroundings at the Fisherman's Memorial Chapel. It's been great to be here. That's about it from us this time in Grimsby, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.